After indicted Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton fled a process server earlier this week, claiming that he feared for his life because there's a strange man outside of my house and I'm terrified, a judge decided to squash that subpoena and say, okay, it's all right, Mr. Paxton, you don't have to come and appear in court, even though you're being sued and, this subpoena was basically to make sure that we can continue the case. Don't worry, we'll totally mess up our entire justice system here just because you got a little scared of a guy in your yard, right? Well, Ken Paxton, after, of course, he ran away from the individual trying to serve him the subpoena, we told that story earlier this week, Ken Paxton came out and said, this individual, Ernesto Herrera, is lucky that things didn't escalate to the point where I needed to use force. Because that's how scared, apparently, Ken Paxton was. So Paxton comes out, he does this little, talk to the media, where he basically says, yeah, I was about 2 seconds away from shooting him. Because he was that scared. Because he had no idea this guy was showing up, right? Actually, he did. Thanks to emails that have been released from the group of lawyers that hired the process server, we now know that Ken Paxton is lying his ass off, and he knew that that process server was showing up at his house on Monday at the specific time that he showed up. According to the emails, this is from the lawyer who filed the lawsuit where Paxton has been subpoenaed to the Assistant Attorney General of the state of Texas, woman by the name of Amy Hilton, works side by side with Ken Paxton. An email sent Friday, September 23rd from the lawyer to Hilton said this: I assume you'd like for us to serve that through you, but will you please confirm by noon today that you will accept service? Otherwise, we'll start the personal service process. I'd really prefer not to have to do that, of course. So Friday, September 23rd in the morning, they sent the notice to Paxton's office telling him hey, do we send the subpoena to your office or do you want us to hire the guy to go to your house? You let us know by noon today. Obviously, we don't want to go to your house, but just let us know. We'll take care of it. Hilton did not respond, however. So you may be thinking, okay, well, Hilton didn't respond, so there's a chance she didn't see it, didn't know it was happening. Oh, but there's so much more. But on Sunday, attorneys from the Texas Attorney General's office told Myers, the lawyer, that the subpoena was invalid because it was served through Paxton's office, but sought to depose him in his individual capacity, according to the plaintiff's motion before the judge. So the office did respond. And they were like, hey, you can't do that through us because he's not being sued as the Attorney General. He's being sued as a dude. We're not representing him, but I guess now we are going to represent him, according to later on. But they knew. So they knew that this man, the process server, was going to show up at Paxton's house on Monday, the very next day. So there is no excuse for Paxton saying, I was so scared of him, I was going to shoot him if I had to. Total BS. And of course, the judge went along with the BS and said, don't you worry, little Paxton buddy. You don't have to come and testify. This whole thing's a farce. This whole thing is a farce. And it's all been exposed. Paxton lied. He ignored a subpoena. If you or I did that, we'd already be arrested, right? We'd be held in contempt. We'd be in the little jail inside of the courthouse or in the little city jail. Not Paxton. Even though he's been under indictment for 7 years for securities fraud and has not yet gone to trial, nothing happens to him. And he'll probably cruise to an easy re-election because apparently that's just the way things work in Texas. I know what a lot of you out there are thinking. You're thinking, wouldn't it be amazing if you could wear the Ring of Fire logo across your chest? Well, now you can. Just head on over to our Teespring page to find some awesome merch we're offering for our viewers. We have more designs that are going to be added in the near future, so just follow the link in the description or take a peek at the shelf of merchandise under this video. Thanks for watching.